study up now. Tap like, hit subscribe, and let's go.
Question 1. Tennessee law requires that all CDL drivers inspect their cargo within the first 50 miles of a trip. True or false? True. The Tennessee CDL Manual aligns with federal rules requiring cargo to be inspected at the beginning of a trip and within the first 50 miles to ensure securement. Question 2. In a dual air brake system, if one system fails, the other automatically provides full braking power. True or false? False. A dual air system can maintain partial braking ability if one side fails, but not full braking power. It may result in longer stopping distances or spring brake engagement. Question 3. The Tennessee CDL skills test includes a pre-trip inspection, basic vehicle control, and an on-road driving test. True or false? True. All three parts are mandatory for CDL skills evaluation and must be passed to obtain a Tennessee CDL. Question 4. Air tanks should only be drained weekly to prevent loss of system pressure. True or false? False. Air tanks must be drained daily to remove water and oil buildup that could impair brake function or cause freezing in cold weather. Question 5. If your trailer is equipped with ABS, the system will improve your normal braking performance. True or false? False. ABS does not shorten stopping distances, but helps prevent will lockup during emergency braking to maintain control. Question 6. Tank vehicles require special care because liquids shift weight during turns, stops, and starts. True or false? True. Liquid surge causes instability and affects braking and handling, making tanker driving uniquely challenging. Question 7. You should always apply the trailer hand valve to park a trailer. True or false? False. The trailer hand valve should never be used for parking. Use the parking brake system to avoid accidental air drain and brake release. Question 8. The minimum tread depth for front tires on a commercial vehicle in Tennessee is 4/32 of an inch. True or false? True. This federal and Tennessee requirement ensures steering control and reduces hydroplaning risk. Question 9. The three types of emergency equipment required in a CMV include fire extinguisher, spare fuses, and warning devices. True or false? True. These are mandatory under both federal and Tennessee CDL requirements for safety and breakdown preparedness. Question 10. All hazmat loads require the use of placards, regardless of quantity. True or false? False. Some hazardous materials, like limited quantities or certain classes under threshold amounts, may not require placards. Question 11. When coupling a trailer, the locking jaws must close around the kingpin shank, not the head. True or false? True. Locking around the kingpin head is incorrect and dangerous. The jaws must secure the shank for proper coupling. Question 12. It is safe to remove a radiator cap on a hot engine if you wear gloves. True or false? False. High-pressure steam or coolant could erupt even with gloves, causing severe burns. Always allow time to cool. Question 13. Doubles and triples are more likely to roll over than single trailers. True or false? True. Their multiple pivot points and higher center of gravity make them less stable, especially on curves and in wind. Question 14. If a CMV driver is caught driving with a BAC of 0.02, they will be allowed to continue operating their vehicle. True or false? False. Any detectable alcohol under 0.04 still results in out-of-service orders and serious consequences per federal rules adopted by Tennessee. Question 15. You should never attempt to inspect brake drum cracks during a pre-trip inspection. True or false? False. Visible cracks, especially around bolt holes or on friction surfaces, must be checked and can disqualify a vehicle from service. Question 16. Placards must be at least 10.75 inches square, turned upright on a point. True or false? True. Placards must meet this specific size and orientation to ensure they are legible and compliant. Question 17. The driver is responsible for refusing any load that is improperly labeled or placarded. True or false? True. CDL drivers must verify correct documentation and labeling before accepting hazardous materials for transport. Question 18. The stab braking method is only used on vehicles with ABS. True or false? False. Stab braking is used on non-ABS systems. ABS-equipped vehicles use steady, firm brake pressure instead. Question 19. Spring brakes rely on compressed air to remain engaged. True or false? False. Spring brakes are held back by air pressure and automatically engage when air pressure is lost. Question 20. It is legal in Tennessee to transport open containers of alcohol in the cab of a CMV. True or false? False. Open alcohol containers are prohibited in any operating area of a CMV and violate federal and state laws. Question 21. It's acceptable to use flares for warning devices during a hazardous material spill. True or false? False. Flares are prohibited in hazmat spill areas due to ignition risk. Use reflective triangles or LED markers instead. Question 22. The Tennessee CDL Manual recommends looking 12 to 15 seconds ahead while driving. True or false? True. This scanning distance gives enough time to react to changing road conditions and hazards. Question 23. Driving in fog with low beam headlights is safer than using high beams. True or false? True. Low beams prevent light reflection in fog and improve visibility, while high beams create glare. Question 24. The fifth wheel should be tilted forward when uncoupled from the trailer. True or false? False. The fifth wheel should tilt backward when uncoupled to allow the kingpin to slide in smoothly during coupling. Question 25. The pushrod stroke on air brakes should never exceed the adjustment limit specified by the manufacturer. True or false? True. Excessive pushrod travel is a sign of improper adjustment and reduces braking power, potentially violating FMCSA standards. Question 26. If your CMV stalls on a railroad crossing, immediately try to restart it before evacuating. True or false? False. You must evacuate all occupants and move away from the track first, then notify authorities. Restarting can waste critical time. Question 27. Retarders can improve vehicle control, but should be turned off in icy or wet conditions. True or false? True. Retarders may cause drive wheels to skid in slippery conditions and must be used with caution. Question 28. You should always test the service brakes while moving at about 5 miles per hour. True or false? True. This verifies that brakes are operating properly and that the vehicle does not pull to one side when stopping. Question 29. The only purpose of a header board is to display signage on a flatbed trailer. True or false? False. A header board is a critical safety feature designed to prevent cargo from shifting forward into the cab. Question 30. An overloaded vehicle can cause damage to bridges and roadways. True or false? True. Overweight loads exceed structural design limits, increasing wear and risk of structural failure. Question 31. You should place reflective warning devices 10 feet, 100 feet, and 200 feet from your vehicle if stopped on a divided highway. True or false? False. On a divided highway, the devices should be placed 10 feet and 100 feet behind and 100 feet in front of the vehicle. Question 32. Hazardous materials shipping papers must be kept on the driver's seat when the driver is out of the cab. True or false? True. This ensures emergency responders can easily locate critical information in the event of an incident. Question 33. A tractor with a fully loaded trailer will stop more quickly than one with an empty trailer. True or false? False. Loaded trailers have more momentum and require more distance to stop compared to empty ones. Question 34. The Tennessee CDL Manual requires all drivers to wear corrective lenses if noted on their license. True or false? True. Failure to wear required corrective lenses is a violation and may result in suspension or citation. Question 35. If your air pressure drops below 60 psi in a dual air system, a warning signal should activate. True or false? True. This low air pressure warning is a safety requirement to alert the driver to possible brake failure. Question 36. You may use a cell phone while operating a CMV as long as it's hands-free. True or false? True. Hands-free use is permitted, but handheld devices are prohibited by both federal and Tennessee law. Question 37. Turning too quickly while backing up is a common cause of trailer jackknifes. True or false? True. Sharp or sudden steering while backing can cause the trailer to angle dangerously toward the tractor. Question 38. To correct a rear wheel skid, you should turn the steering wheel in the opposite direction of the skid. True or false? False. You must turn into the skid in the direction the rear is sliding to regain control of the vehicle. Question 39. Hazmat endorsements are required to transport oxygen tanks for hospitals. True or false? True. Compressed oxygen is a Class 2.2 hazardous material and requires proper labeling, handling, and endorsement. Question 40. All CMV drivers are required to log on duty and driving time in a paper logbook only. True or false? False. Most drivers must use an electronic logging device, or ELD, unless exempt under specific short-haul or time card rules. Question 41. A school bus driver must stop at all railroad crossings, even if the bus is empty. True or false? True. School buses are legally required to stop at all crossings regardless of passenger load for safety reasons. Question 42. If your tractor-trailer begins to skid, immediately apply full throttle to regain traction. True or false? False. Accelerating during a skid worsens loss of control. You should ease off the accelerator and steer gently in the direction you want to go. Question 43. Baffles are used in tankers to prevent surge. True or false? True. Baffles are interior bulkheads with holes that slow the flow of liquid, helping to control forward and backward surge. Question 44. Parking brakes on heavy vehicles will work without air pressure. True or false? True. Parking brakes are spring-activated and engage automatically when air pressure is lost. Question 45. The hazard lights should only be used when pulling into a dock. True or false? False. Hazard lights should be used to warn of breakdowns, emergency stops, or traffic obstruction, not routine docking. Question 46. When loading a cargo tank, it is acceptable to leave the engine running. True or false? False. Engines must be turned off during fueling or loading hazardous materials to reduce the risk of ignition. Question 47. The tractor protection valve prevents air loss from the tractor in case of trailer air line failure. True or false? True. This safety valve closes when trailer air pressure drops too low, protecting the tractor's air supply. Question 48. To apply for a Tennessee CDL, a driver must be at least 18 years old for interstate operation. True or false? False. Drivers must be at least 21 years old to operate a CMV across state lines or transport hazardous materials. Question 49. Doubles and triples must be equipped with service and emergency airlines between each trailer. True or false? True. These lines are critical for proper brake operation and must be connected during pre-trip inspection and coupling. Question 50. Cargo securement rules do not apply if you are hauling agricultural products within Tennessee. True or false? False. All cargo, including agricultural materials, must be properly secured according to federal and state regulations.
Getting there? Hit play on the next video or snag the cheat sheet to cover every angle.